right. So, guys, we're back with another What If for you. One of Brady's and myself's favorite fighters currently, past, present, the former IBF welterweight champion, Kell Special K Brook. What if he never moved up to middleweight? So, it's a little background on Kell Brook. He won the IBF title in the middle of 2014. He had three successful defenses, all stoppage wins, and then he in September 2016 decided to move up and take on the best middleweight in the world at the time, Gennady Golovkin.
Yeah, so he is one of my favorites, probably top 10 of all time. I'm glad he's back in his winning ways. I'm going to say that first. I'm going to start off by saying it was a mistake in the first place, him going up, because it put him in a position to lose 2 in a row, which was very likable. And it wasn't a win-win situation for him going up at all, because not many people gave him a chance. Because how many divisions did he go up? 2 or 3?
Yeah, he jumped 2 divisions.
Which is crazy, because he's a big welterweight, but he's not up there to jump 2 divisions, especially in with the best, a prime Gennady. That being said, before we get into the full what if, we got to take into consideration, though, he was winning the fight.
Yeah.
So he was winning the fight.
So if at that point when he went up to fight Triple G, yes, like you said, he was a big welterweight, but him going up in weight, that much weight, that's a lot of weight. 13 pounds. It's like, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's quite a bit, especially when you consider there's 2 weight divisions. And he took on the toughest guy in the division. It made it that much harder for him to come back down in weight to welterweight. He only came back down for 1 fight, if I remember correctly, which was his title defense he had against Spence after. And he looked damaged because when he fought Triple G, he broke his orbital bone. You remember that?
Yeah, 6th round, I think.
Yeah. So then he goes back a year later and he fights, almost a year later, and he fights Errol Spence in his title defense back at welterweight. Guess what happens? He breaks his orbital bone on the other side. So he obviously was left damaged. The weight cut probably did some damage to him. He's having a hard time making the weight. So what do you think would have happened if in 2016 he never went up to 160 pounds?
Honestly, it's pretty simple for me. I think he would have defended it against someone. Probably he wasn't fighting the best competition, so he would have beaten up another Can, defended his belt instead of Gennady. And then in my opinion, he would have lost to Errol Spence either way, but it would have been more competitive this time.
Okay, that's interesting. So when you look at the guys he fought, Jojo Dan, Frankie Galvin, Kevin Bizier, those are the 3 title defenses he had. Eddie Hearn, he was signed with Eddie Hearn before Eddie Hearn was Eddie Hearn. So Eddie Hearn was using him to build up Anthony Joshua on his undercards. He'd have him fight these Cans as a title defense in England, and he would build up Anthony Joshua on his undercard. So it's hard to say how he would have done, but when you look at how he did against Sean Porter, he beat Sean Porter when Sean Porter was champion.
And I think at the time.
Sorry?
He took that out.
He took that out, exactly. He was undefeated at the time. He came over to the States in Sean Porter's backyard, beat him across the pond. I think the Kell Brook from 2014 to early 2016, I think he beats Errol Spence. Errol Spence wasn't Errol Spence until after he beat Kell Brook.
I don't agree with that. I just think Errol Spence, but that's a little biased because I'm a big Errol Spence fan too, and I love Kell Brook. It's pretty close for me, but I just think that Errol Spence would have won that fight pretty. It might have been more competitive, but he would have won that fight. That fight was stoppage, right?
Again, same stoppage, broken orbital, Triple G. But you have to remember, he was coming down in weight. He hadn't been at that weight in almost a year. In over a year. And he was still winning the fight up until the point of stoppage.
Oh, wow. So it probably would have went to a decision. So it could have been a toss-up. I don't know. I can't really say, but I think Spence still wins it. So
that's fair. I understand that. I disagree. But there's also other champions at the time that I think would have been good fights as well.
Now, if that Triple G fight wouldn't have happened, let's say we take Errol Spence out of everything, he might not have even fought him if it wasn't for the Triple G fight.
No, because Errol Spence at the time wasn't a champion. That's what was, again, my next point. So the other champions at the time, you had Floyd Mayweather had the WBA, the WBC. Manny Pacquiao had just beat Tim Bradley for the vacant WBO, and Keith Thurman had the WBA regular. So those were the other guys that had belts at the time.
Wow, time goes by fast, eh? It seems like yesterday. Holy, where Tim Bradley got an easier, the biggest robbery in my opinion. He never beat Pacquiao, but wow. I think he would have done good against Bradley or Pacquiao. I think he would have beat Keith Thurman. I think he got a little exposed, but I don't think he would have beat Mayweather. So he could have became a unified champion if he would have kept going.
Yeah, if he had have decided to have some tough title defenses and title unifications like me and you wanted him to do at the time, there was great fights. The Tim Bradley fight wouldn't be easy because Tim Bradley is always a tough fight for everybody. But I favored Kell Brook at that time. Manny Pacquiao, I think Brook's too big, too strong for him.
Oh, for sure.
Keith Thurman would have got. I don't even think that would have been a close fight. I think he might have even knocked out Keith Thurman back then. In 2016, I
remember sitting on the couch with you and your dad at one point, and you guys were like, Kell Brook and Keith Thurman are the biggest guys in the future. These guys are going to be something. And look at now. Special K can still go somewhere. That's the thing with him. I just hope he regroups himself. He has and comes back strong because the guy has potential to be pound per pound still.
I agree. So this is from 2014 to 2016. These are the guys that Thurman fought: Leonard Bundu, Robert Guerrero, Leonard Bundu, some Italian guy. Robert Guerrero, Luis Collazo, and Sean Porter. So he won all of them. He beat Sean Porter, but it's harder to beat the undefeated champion that Kell Brook beat than this Sean Porter who didn't have a belt and was not undefeated.
Okay. So you would have likely gotten if he would have beaten a can, let's say, and beaten he wouldn't have fought Spence. I think he would have fought Thurman, and he would have won that fight. And after that, I don't know. Because the welterweight division has got so deep, and it still is. People don't realize how deep this division is right now. Thank God there's 5 belts in boxing. They could all call each other champion because we don't know who's number one, really.
True. I don't think he would have ever fought Floyd. Even if he did, I don't think he would have won that fight just because it's Floyd Mayweather, and that's back when Floyd had beat the likes of Manny Pacquiao and Maidana. But that being said, yeah, he wouldn't have got that fight because Floyd was at the point in his career he was only fighting money fights. He wasn't fighting the next guy up.
Absolutely, I agree. So we both agree that he doesn't fight Spence. That's it's toss-up. I doubt it. He probably fight Thurman, beats Thurman, and after that, you don't know.
I think he would have beat Pacquiao. Pacquiao is the kind of guy who fights everybody.
That's true.
Pacquiao didn't have to fight Thurman in 2019, and Pacquiao fought Thurman in 2019.
And beat him. That's crazy. So, is there anything you want to add to this topic?
I think you also would have saw Kell Brook after maybe unifying with one other person, maybe 2 other unification fights. Maybe if he beat Pacquiao and Thurman, he would have moved up to 154 because the weight cut was getting tough on him, and it was inevitable for him to move up. He jumped the gun on moving up, and he went up too much at one time and fought the wrong guy in his first fight at the weight class. Like, you have never seen Kell Brook fight at 166. He went up once, came back down to 147, and he's been at 154 ever since.
That's such a huge gap, too. Do you want to talk about a little bit of what's happening now with Kell Brook?
Sure.
All right. So ever since the Errol Spence thing, he's kind of went a little downhill. And he's fought 2 guys.
3.
He's what, 3-fight win streak now?
No, 3-fight win streak, yep.
So he's on a bounce back, but he hasn't fought good competition. I would like to see him fight Jarrett Hurd.
Beautiful fight.
And I just wanted to throw that out there because Jarrett Hurd is my boy. I love him. He's one of my favorite boxers right now. Shout out to Jarrett Hurd. And that would just be an amazing fight. That if you want to see a good fight, let's all push for Jarrett Hurd versus Kell Brook.
You got the boxer puncher with Kell Brook who stays in the pocket and throws huge combinations with explosive power and speed. And then you got the slugger that just comes and mauls you and wears you down. And Jarrett Hurd, make that fight happen.
Fantasy, who wins? I lean towards Hurd.
I lean towards Brook.
Well, let's make it happen. We're going to make a petition, get everyone to sign this. This thing needs to happen.
All right, sounds good.
On that note, I think we're done with this what if today.
Well,
Respect to Kell Brook.